Alright guys, today let's talk about my horror collection and non-Shout Factory, Scream Factory movies, because I did do a video on that, and I want to talk about all the horror movies that I own on Blu-ray. I'll do a DVD one too, because these videos can be, it'd probably be really long if I did the DVD one as well, and there's not enough room on this desk to put all of these movies on there. I fit all the Blu-rays, but I don't think I could fit all the Blu-rays and DVDs on the desk. So, let's get started. My first one is Psycho, Steelbook. Isn't that beautiful? That's incredible. We all go a little mad sometimes. I got this, and I've got multiple versions of Psycho, of course, because it's amazing. And I've got multiple versions because I've also got the Alfred Hitchcock collection, which is not every single Alfred Hitchcock movie, because this is just Universal's line of Alfred Hitchcock movies, which Universal owns a majority of them. I think To Catch a Thief is one of the rare exceptions where Paramount literally just didn't give them the rights or wouldn't give it up. And there isn't like movies like Rebecca on here either, so I wonder and Rebecca I think is Warner Brothers, so. And I've got a DVD box set of Warner Brothers Alfred Hitchcock movies, which are a couple different ones than this. So yeah, this isn't the ultimate collection completely because doesn't have all of the Alfred Hitchcock movies, but this movie box set though contains, and I've seen all these Alfred Hitchcock movies, but it contains Psycho, The Birds, Vertigo, Rear Window, North by Northwest, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Marnie, Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, The Trouble with Harry, Torn Curtain, Topaz, Frenzy, and Family Plot. And I've seen all of those and enjoyed a majority of them, or loved the majority of them. So this is a great box set. Like, this seriously is one of the coolest looking box sets. And like literally every one of them has pictures of the movie and artwork and the poster and trivia and bonus features list on these. That's incredible. That's one of the coolest box sets I own, I think, because it's just so, there's so much care was taken into that. And then I also own another version of Halloween 2, which the only reason I own this version, this Blu-ray, because I've got the Scream Factory one, is because this comes with Terror in the Aisles, which is a horror documentary type thing where like it just shows scenes from horror movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s, which is really cool if you haven't seen it. Terror in the Aisles. It's a really cool little hour-and-a-half movie, I guess, but it's just a lot of scenes of clips from horror movies, and it's really great. And then of course you gotta have The Thing. I've got John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's fantastic. Just such a great movie. It's not one that I typically rewatch all the time, but I do want to watch it again and review it eventually, but it's really a fantastic movie, though, one of his best. It's just not one of the ones that is as much rewatchable to me. And then we've got The Ward, which is a movie I watched recently and bought recently on Blu-ray, which I felt very mixed on. Like, I liked a lot of it, and I disliked a lot of it, so it was a very mixed bag. My least favorite Carpenter movie so far that I've seen, and there's only like 5 or 6 I think I need to see of his that I haven't seen. But this is definitely my least favorite so far. But hey, I haven't seen Ghost of Mars, which I hear might be the worst one. So, I don't know. I'll make that decision on my own, though. And then the Chucky collection. Child's Play 1, 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky. Love all these movies. Just one of my favorite franchises, one of my favorite horror franchises, one of the foundations of why I love horror, one of the foundations on why these are so entertaining, because of it's horror but it's also comedy. They're all genuinely funny. They've got, Chucky has such a great personality. Adding Jennifer Tilly in the movies is fantastic, and I've reviewed these on my channel already, so check that out if you haven't, but just love all these movies. They're so incredible. And this is a cool looking box set too. It's another Universal one, and it's really cool looking. And I think it looks better than the one that they just put out with the Cult of Chucky one, where it's just like Chucky's face in the front like it's in the doll box, which is cool too, but this one I think has a lot more cool artwork on it. Like for example, that's really cool, and it's just a really cool looking box set. I really enjoyed it, and it's a limited edition one, so I guess it's probably out of print now, but I really thought this is a cool box set. And then Cult of Chucky, which I loved. I know on the internet it's like you have to love something or hate something, and a lot of people hate this movie, so I don't give a fuck. I love this movie. I think this movie is fucking awesome. It's hilarious. It's a great way of making the story go it's got more of a plot than a lot of the movies. And I mean, the Chucky movies do have a plot to them, but this one is getting more, and like, I feel like Don Mancini is getting more and more plot driven. Even though, like, there are, of course, people who are made to be put on the movie and then killed, but, like, this one, I think, had a lot of plot, and the ending, which I won't spoil here if you haven't seen it, made me love this franchise even more, even though I love it already, one of my favorites. But this is just fantastic. Not my favorite one of the franchise, but it's up there. It's like, I'd say it's like my 4th or 5th favorite out of, like, 7 of them, so it's still fantastic. Love that. And then The Stranger's Prey Night, which I just got recently. Awesome. The movie doesn't do anything original, but it's an awesome, fun horror movie with a great soundtrack, badass soundtrack. That, without ruining it, that scene where the song Air Supply, Make Love and Nothing at All plays, incredible. Just incredible. Just blew me away. One of the coolest visually and musically, like, done horror scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Like, just blew me away. But this movie, I like it a lot. I don't think it's like the best horror movie ever, but it's fun. It's fine. I enjoyed it a lot. And then Happy Death Day, which I think is really fun, and it actually gives a main character, a good likable arc, because if you see in the movie, this character who is a horrible person at the beginning kind of learns as she keeps dying and coming back that, like, it's not all about her. And I like when movies do that. I like when they can give a likable character, a likable main character that has to become likable after being a horrible person. So I really enjoyed that. And it's a PG-13 horror movie, so it's not bloody, which is a negative, but it's not like a big negative because I think the characters are so interesting and fun in this movie that and the comedy is fun that to me, it doesn't matter as much, in my opinion, that it's not rated R. But I wish it was, but whatever. We still got a fun movie, and I thought this was really enjoyable. And now Ouija 1 and Ouija Origin of Evil. And Ouija 1 I don't like, really bad. I've seen it a couple times, and it's just really, I've never changed my opinion on it. It's not good. Ouija Origin of Evil is fucking fantastic, though. That is one of the coolest horror prequels ever. Because Mike Flanagan, who is one of the best horror directors today, and people need to give him more recognition, like, he is fucking amazing, and Ouija Origin of Evil blew me away. It's a PG-13 horror movie, too, so it's bloodless, but man, it got me, just in terms of these characters, in terms of the thrills, in terms of the story. Like, Ouija Origin of Evil has such great dignity to it for being a horror movie that is a prequel to a movie that is considered one of the worst horror movies, like, in the past, like, couple years. So that's great. I love Origin of Evil, and Ouija 1 just is bad, but I'll watch it. Not very good, but, you know. Alright, then Get Out. Get Out is, like, man, I don't know what to say about Get Out that hasn't been said, because this movie has been talked about ever since it came out. It's one of those little movies that could, because this movie at first, I thought it was just going to be like a sleeper hit, like it was going to be a little horror movie that didn't do much, but in terms of a more deeper connection to African Americans and how they have been treated, and how the world incorporates, like how they incorporate into this movie how you see from a guy's point of view, an African American guy's point of view, that, like, how the world is to him, and I love how that works, because it blew me away. And Jordan Peele, who is an actor and a director based more on comedy, made one of the best, like, the best written and best made horror movies in a long time. Like, it's not really scary, but I never get scared in movies, so that's kind of like a redundant thing to say, but this just as a movie is fantastic. It just blew me away. It's hilarious. It's very questioning, and it works in a very old school type of way. Just, God, this movie is fantastic. Love it so much. Then again, love this movie too. The Game, fucking amazing. Michael Douglas, man, like, one of my favorite actors. He blows me away in every movie that he's in, and this one is really incredible. Then Nocturnal Animals, which is really, really good too. One of the best of 2016. Just raw, gripping performances. Like, this movie just is incredibly, like it never lets up in how cruel these characters in this story are, that this character is reading about, but it's like a real thing that happened, and it just is, in terms of performances and in terms of like being disturbed, like, this is really good, and it has a couple elements from like other horror movies that like are really cool. There's one scene where it has like a David Lynch type horror scare, and David Lynch has those weird scares that really are so odd and so different, but they work, and this one has one of those, and it's Nocturnal Animals is great. Love that movie. Then the Evil Dead films. Evil Dead 1, awesome. Evil Dead 2, I think even better. Army of Darkness, great. And the remake, really great. Like, this is a great remake. It's different, but it's great. I really enjoyed this one too. And then Unbreakable, fucking Shyamalan. Like, when he's great, he's amazing. Unbreakable is one of the best. And then Split, great sequel. I know I could say that, I guess, since Split's been out for like a year or two. I guess it's just been a year basically, but Split, just an incredible sequel to Unbreakable. And if you didn't know the twist, I didn't know the twist going in, of course, but like, it's funny looking at the artwork. Like, these look very similar, like, movies, like that they could be sequels to and connect, and they do. And that just, God, just blew me away. Split, James McAvoy had a fantastic performance. Just love that movie. And then we get the King Kong movies. King Kong 1, great. 1933, King Kong, awesome. King Kong Escapes is fun and silly. And then King Kong 2005, amazing. One of my favorite movies ever made. Like, this just, Peter Jackson, him, Lord of the Rings, King Kong, just incredible. Like, he's an incredible director, and this is one of my favorites. Just, you could feel so much for this character, even though he's an animal. Like, it just gives off such an incredible, it's an incredible film. Then Kong Skull Island, which I think is really incredibly visually fun. Really enjoyed this. It was a really great, like, I don't want to say just visually because I feel like I'm insulting it, but it is an incredible visual action film. Like, it blew me away, and just how fun and how, and it's during Vietnam. That's what's so cool about it. Just having these Vietnam type imagery, like from Vietnam movies, and using that in this, and just, like, it's incredible. I really like Kong Skull Island a lot. It's not my favorite out of all of them, but it's really great. And then Godzilla, which I remember not really loving. I thought it was fine, but I need to watch it again to really formulate an opinion, because it's been a couple years since it came out that I've seen it. So overall, I thought it was fine. I need to rewatch it though to really see what I feel about it again now in this current time. And then Jurassic Park collection, which 1, 2, and 3. I'd say the first one is really fantastic. Like usual, I think I love the first one. The second one I think is fun. The third one I think is worse than the first two, but it's fun. And then Jurassic World, which is really fun too. I say out of all the sequels, it's between this and the second one. I don't know which one I'd choose, because this one has a lot more like it feels more attuned to the first one than the second one, but the second one has a lot of fun things about it and some really thrilling things about it that get underrated. So this, I don't know which one I'd pick for my second favorite of the Jurassic Park movies, this one or the second one, but it might be this one, I'd say. This is probably the second one is my favorite. I just saw the newest one, which I didn't really, like, I thought it was just perfectly, like, alright, like most of the sequels, but this one's fun. Jurassic World's really fun. Jaws. What can I say? What else can I say about this movie? It's Jaws. How can I can't think of anything else to say. Just, of course, fantastic. Friday the 13th. The first 8 Friday the 13th. The first 8 Paramount released Friday the 13th movies, which I wish that we got another box set like the one that came out where it had all the movies together, but we didn't. And that one's incredibly rare now and just goes like $300 or $400 new on Amazon. I'm just like, why couldn't we just have another one of these? I know that there's a rights issue. It's fucking stupid, but just let us have a film, or a film collection of all of these films, not just the first 8, even though I do enjoy almost all of them in the first 8 besides the 8th one. But this, we just need them all together. And then, so I don't have Jason X or Jason Goes to Hell on Blu-ray yet, because the only way you can obtain them is through that collection that was released limited. But I do have Freddy vs. Jason, the Friday remake, and the Nightmare remake on this Blu-ray 3-pack, which is a cool 3-pack. But still don't have Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X on Blu-ray. I have them on DVD though, but not on Blu-ray. And then this is one of the coolest documentaries I've ever seen. Crystal Lake Memories, The Complete History of Friday the 13th. This is like an 8 or 9 hour thing. And this is just incredible in how much detail they go into every film. All these interviews from all these actors or writers or like people who are just involved in the movie. Like, this is an incredible watch. Like, this is one of the coolest ones ever. And there was also another one that's done by the same people called Never Sleep Again, History of the Nightmare on Elm Street, which is great too, but this one is the best one in my opinion out of the two, because I love this franchise more. But this is just incredible. One of the coolest documentaries ever. If you have not watched this, you're missing out. It's just incredible. Then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one. What can I say? One of the scariest movies ever. It affects me every time I watch it. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. And I want to get the other sequels, but I just haven't yet. But the remake is a really underrated movie, I think. And it's one of the better remakes that came out for horror movies, because it does not let up in how gruesome it is. It doesn't have the same feel as the first one, where the first one is grainy and film stock, like you're watching a snuff film, but like in this one it's more glossy, but it still works. Still really strong movie. Then Suspiria, great movie. Just watched this for the first time this year. Just blew me away. The score, one of the most iconic scores I've ever heard, blew me away. It's incredible. Then the Saw franchise, and I haven't got Jigsaw yet. I don't know when I'll get that, but I've got, this one has the first 7. The first 7, I really love the first one. I think the first 1, 2, and 3 are great. 4, I think 4, 5, and 6 are good too, from what I remember, and 7 is the one I like the least, because I feel like they pushed out on what they were trying to do. Like, they brought all these cool people back from the survivors from the last 6 movies, and then they didn't do anything with them. I wish they did that in the 7th one, but overall, this is a franchise that's really fun, really enjoyable. Seen them a couple times. Need to get Jigsaw sometime, the 8th one, but this is fun franchise. And then Scream, 1, 2, and 3. I don't have 4 on Blu-ray yet. I have it on DVD. And then this has the Still Screaming and Scream the Inside Story documentaries, which are both really interesting. The Scream franchise is fun. The second one's my favorite. They're all fun meta movies. Then It Follows. Yes, It Follows. What can I say about this? Just, God, one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. Blew me away. Really, really incredible. I don't think that this is so John Carpenter, even though he didn't do it, that it's just such a nice swan song to, like, that director. Like, this just feels and oozes Carpenter. Like, it's incredible. Then Final Destination 5. I got the first 4 on DVD. And 5 is awesome. 5, I really think it's fun. It has one of the coolest, like, twists in the franchise. Like, the ending of the movie. Just never saw it coming. Great ending to this movie. Just, this movie is fun like all the other ones. And then the Exorcist franchise complete anthology, which has the first one, Exorcist II the Heretic, Exorcist 3, Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, and Exorcist the Beginning, which I really love the first 3. 1 is just a classic movie. 2 is a bad movie, but it's incredibly one of my favorite bad movies ever made. I love it so much. It's visually cool. The score is amazing in 2. Love that. 3 is an incredible Exorcist sequel that tries to be like the original, but it's so different enough where it feels like it's a sequel, but it's not, in a great way. And how I just said that sounds like it's an insult to the franchise, but it's not. It's an incredible movie. George C. Scott is in that movie, and Brad Dourif. Exorcist 3 is awesome. And then the 2 prequels, which are basically the same movie except made a little different. It's a weird thing I've never really seen in a franchise do, where they've made two prequels that are literally almost close to each other, but they make them they make them a little different. That is one of the weirdest, and they were literally a year apart from each other, 2004, 2005, and they both starred Stellan Skarsgård. That's so weird, but I'm not even a fan of the two prequels, but 1, 2, and 3 I love. But this is just a cool franchise overall. I really enjoy it, even though I don't like the two prequels. But first three are fucking fantastic. And then we get to the Conjuring franchise, which I'll do it in order, chronological order. Annabelle Creation, great. I really thought this was awesome. Just great thrills, great characters. Like, I thought these characters were so likable, and you felt so much for them. And like the Chucky franchise in the last couple movies, they did a thing with a girl in a wheelchair where you can't really run away from this thing, and I thought that was a cool thing to do in this franchise as well. This one was just really creepy and really cool, and it built into the franchise really cool by the end of it. And this is the first one technically so far released in chronological order. I know The Nun happens before all these apparently, but this is the first one right now in chronological order. And then Annabelle, which is a movie at first I really didn't like, but watching it again, I thought that it was not great, but it was better than what I thought it was. It's not anything original or new. It's a lot of Rosemary's Baby, but it's still, in terms of the watchability, like, it's watchable. It's just not a very unique movie. And then The Conjuring 1 and 2, both incredible. Just some of the coolest horror movies ever, like, that have come out in the past couple of years. They're both incredible. They both just, in terms of filmmaking, in terms of acting, in terms of scares, like, in terms of not really killing off any people, like, those are great without having to kill people off. Like, it's a movie that you can just be scared at, and they're rated R because of being scary. That's really cool. And then Insidious, the first one, which is good. I like it. It's not one that I completely, like, say it's, oh, the scariest ever. Like, it's fine, it's good. I've seen all the Insidious movies, and I think that this one is fine, like most of them. And Silence of the Lambs, which has this cool cover on it, because it's got, like, the actual thing behind it, but this is a cool slip picture. But Silence of the Lambs, incredible. What can I not say about this movie? Just one of the best. And then one of my favorite horror movies ever, Carrie, which has a slipcover, a picture too, over the actual movie. And I got these both at Walmart, so I guess Walmart had a special thing going on with these little covers. But Carrie, just fantastic. My top 5 horror movies ever. Like, this, just incredible. One of the best. Love this movie. Then Predator, which is awesome. Just a great, fun movie. It's a great Arnold movie as well. And then AVP 1 and 2. I love AVP 1. AVP 2 is dog shit. One of the worst I've ever seen. Like, I think it's incredibly the worst thing. Like, it really astounds me in how awful the Requiem is. Because it does not try at all. It's just literally like, oh, we're going to put them in this town to slaughter people. There's no plot, there's no nothing. And I understand these movies are not trying to be that, but man, that was just awful. Second one. And then Prometheus, which I really think is awesome. It's a great movie. A great one that people shit on because it's not like the Alien films. And it's not trying to be. It's just trying to be in that universe, trying to connect it in a way, in a subtle way. And I think that this really is a cool movie, and I think it's underrated. People don't give it enough, like, talk about it. Like, people shit on it more than they say good about it, and I think that this has a lot of great things to offer. And then Alien Covenant, which, this is a cool steelbook I got too from Best Buy, but isn't that awesome? Really cool sequel. I think this and Prometheus really are the best sequels after Alien and Aliens. Like, I think that they're the best ones. This one just really awesome, really fun, really intense. What I wanted out of an Alien movie. And then we've got the Alien Anthology, which has Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. Alien 1 and 2. Fucking love them. Amazing. Some of the best movies ever made. 3. I'm mixed on. I love the ending. I think it's pretty boring though. And 4 has some intense action, but it's really silly. So, just a mixed bag on this franchise, but I think that they're fun. And then Terminator Anthology, which, again, like Alien, I love the first two. Then mixed on 3 and 4. And then I've got Genesis, because I got it for free. But this one's alright because Arnold's in it, and he's fun and he's entertaining, but it's just kind of like, it's not anything special. I can see why they're remaking, or not remaking, they're making another sequel, but ignoring these 3, 4, and 5 again, like they did before. And then 10 Cloverfield Lane, one of my favorite movies ever made. Just, wow. Performances, incredible. One of the best. John Goodman is incredible in this movie. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a great main character. Badass. Just, this movie did a great job of, without knowing what the twist is, you just think that this is a movie in the Cloverfield universe where they are in a bunker and she doesn't know what the truth is, what really is happening up above. And John Goodman could be lying, he could be telling the truth, and I love the fact that this movie does a great job of explaining that whenever it's revealed. Incredible, one of my favorites. Love that movie. And 7, incredible too. Not one of my favorites, but it's a great, great movie. Just, what's in the box? What's in the box? Like, it's, and this is like a cool digibook that I got too. It's got a lot of information about the movie in it. But 7's great. And Clockwork Orange, which is a movie I've only seen once, and I need to rewatch again because I wasn't really all for it watching it the first time, but maybe watching it again I'll feel different about it. Black Swan, one of my favorites. One of my favorite Aronofsky movies. One of my favorite Natalie Portman performances. Like, this is thrilling and intense and scary, and this is just an incredible character piece on how this character breaks and falls from grace. Just incredible. And then Mother, another Aronofsky movie, which is incredible too, and people shit on this movie because this movie is so un-Hollywood, and whenever it came out in theaters, like, seeing it opening night, like, so many people I heard just said, that was awful, that sucks, and they just did that with Hereditary too, because people don't understand that it doesn't have to be a typical Hollywood movie, and I understand not liking it, but I feel like this movie, with knowing what the allegories are that this movie and what Aronofsky was trying to entail, this is incredible, and it just blew me away with the tension, with how it builds up, with how nothing, like, nothing, and then it just builds up incredibly, and the acting is great in this movie, and it just, one of my favorites, absolute favorites, top 5 of 2017, blew me away. And then Gone Girl, which is more of a thriller, but Gone Girl's great. Great movie, great performances. Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike. Didn't know the twist because I didn't read the book. I didn't know anything about the book before it came out. Great. And I like how psychotic that they were, that they made this box set and put the book of Rosamund Pike's character, which if you see the movie you'll understand, but that's really weird and really interesting. And then this is more of a thriller too, but Fargo. Fargo is awesome. Just a great movie. Great Coen Brothers movie. Great. It has a lot of comedic moments too, but it is a thriller. It is intense, but it is great. Just a great movie. But overall, that's my horror thriller Blu-ray collection. I've got a whole DVD collection too, so that's why I didn't talk about them as well. But there's my Blu-ray collection. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.